This is Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
The devastating problems with contemporary solutions to ancient problems. This is Wretched Radio. Ethnic division always existed. God has a solution. It's called biblical justice. Current theories are social justice theories, using critical race theory as the mechanism to bring about equality. Another terminology that is used a lot would be systemic racism, white privilege, wokeness, all new ideas. The question is, are they biblical? Because if they are not, we must simply reject them. That does not mean we avoid the issue. It doesn't mean we don't deal with these subjects. It doesn't mean that we're trying to just maintain power so that we can be an oppressor. That's just not Christian. We want to deal with the issues, but we want to do it biblically. Dr. Voddie Baucham helping us see the problems with the idea of all of this terminology, and one I had never pondered. Leave it to Voddie to think it through.
I went to school at the University of Oxford in England. Some people think I went to Oxford because I'm pretentious. But I did the last year of my D-Min at Southeastern as the first year of the D-Phil at Oxford. I didn't just want to get a second doctoral degree. I wasn't just not a glutton for whatever. But why Oxford? Do you know one of the main reasons that I did that? Is because if I left the United States and went to a school in the UK, no one could accuse the institution of granting me my degree because of tokenism or affirmative action. I was sick and tired of the assumptions that people make because of this attitude that says, your skin color makes you the weaker brother, and we have to lower the standard for you.
Have you thought it through in those terms? In essence, that this group of people has been oppressed by another group of apparently more powerful people? Smarter people? Just better people. And now they need their help to get out of the situation that they're in. Whoa. If you frame it like that, it is a nasty business that we engage in when we use social justice ideology. But there are more problems with these modern-day ideas.
This brand of self-flagellation has become the new form of enlightenment on race issues. It qualifies as a kind of worship. The parallels with Christianity are almost uncannily rich. White privilege is the secular white person's original sin, present at birth and ultimately ineradicable. One does one's penance by endlessly attesting to this privilege in hope of some kind of forgiveness. This new cult of atonement is less about black people than white people. That's the great irony. 50 years ago, a white person learning about the race problem came away asking, how can I help? Today, the same person too often comes away asking, how can I show that I'm a moral person? Another problem is that I'm not sure that today's educated whites quite understand how unattainable the absolution they are seeking is. You'll never be sorry enough. We have gone from most whites being unaware that racism was a problem for black people at all, to whites being chilled to their bones at the possibility of harboring racism in their souls, terrified at the prospect of being singled out as a heretic, and forgetting that the indulgences they purchase and the praying they do for their souls has more to do with them than with anyone black.
The gospel forgives all sins. Social justice theory? there is one sin that is greater than all. It is the sin of racism. And it almost seems like there is never a relief of that burden of guilt. Ethnicgnosticism, the subject, the term that Voddie Baucham coined, that you don't even know that you're racist. And you need to be awakened to that, because there is a group of people who does know that you're racist even though you don't. Fraught with problems.
This idea that you don't know what you don't know, and don't tell me because I know. Don't try to explain yourself because I know. I talked about it earlier. People who have been for decades serving their communities, loving their brothers and sisters, who all of a sudden run into the religion of racialism. And it's like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't care that you have been marching at abortion clinics for 2 decades because of the slaughter of black babies. I want to know how sorry you are about the latest issue.
That is ethnic Gnosticism, seemingly the premier issue in our culture and in our hearts and in our churches.
Essentially, what's happening in many circles is that there are people who, regardless of what it is that they've done, regardless of who it is that they've been, if they slip up on one of these issues, you quote the wrong person. You come down on the wrong side of an issue, and all of a sudden the rest of your life doesn't matter. You just proved that all of that was a lie, because you, my friend, are a racist, and racism is the new unpardonable sin.
That is not Christianity. That's the culture, the shame culture, the we're going to shut you down culture. We are now going to boycott you culture. We are not going to let you make a movie culture. That's how the world is treating people who don't say everything exactly the way that it is supposed to be said these days. Does that sound like Christianity to you? So ask yourself a question, my friend. If you have been excited about the new religion of raciality, social justice issues, consider the people that you're partnering with. How are they behaving? How are they acting? How are they treating others? And it should at least cause you to ask, maybe there's something wrong with these contemporary ideas. Maybe they're just not Christian.
This is another great irony of ethnic Gnosticism. Another great irony is that sometimes, and I'm just speaking for myself, sometimes I feel like I'm being robbed of my sanctification. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, if these issues that we're dealing with that are now, at the forefront, if these issues are only about the hearts of white people that need to be made right, then the stuff in me doesn't get dealt with.
So there's another deficiency to these ideas. There's only one group these days who are sinners. Only one group of people that are doing bad things. White people who are not awakened to the fact that they have racism harboring in their hearts. They have white privilege and they have not been aware of it. They are racist. That's the focus of our contemporary conversation. Well, I'm pretty sure Voddie, like every other human being, like every white person, black person, yellow person, well, they've got sin issues too. Those just aren't being addressed or discussed in these contemporary definitions of how we're dealing with sin in our culture.
What does this mean for you when a white brother says something that is offensive? What do? Do you fold your arms and wait for him to be sorry? What do you do? what does a non-black person do? If they run into ethnic Gnosticism and feel like it's not fair, what do you do? Well, the answer is here. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. That's what my book says.
That is not what social justice, critical theory, or ethnic Gnosticism teaches. Please ask yourself the question, am I importing unbiblical ideals into my Christian worldview, and is it time to reject them? Until tomorrow, go serve your king.
Good evening, my fellow totally depraved Americans.